Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily pitching preview show in baseball that we do with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy been handicapping baseball successfully for 30 years and tells me he's doing well again this year. Right now, we're going to take a look at the card for Wednesday, April 29th. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Mr. Loshak.
All right, Joe, things going well once again. Just remind us how you're doing this year.
Extremely well. As we do file this report, 90 and 81, 78 underdog winners, 26 of $1.30 or more. We continue to master the underdogs and the small favorites at OffshoreInsiders.com.
So maybe, Joe Duffy, are you the Bartolo Colon of handicapping? You know, you've been doing this successfully for 30 years. Bartolo Colon's been doing this successfully for 30 years. He's fat. Yeah, you're not that fat, though, are you, Joe?
No, I am. I'm definitely fat, but I love to eat. You don't actually have to eat, because I sit, part of my job is just to sit in front of the TV and sit in the chair, so being fat's not all that bad.
All right, well, maybe you are the Bartolo Colon of handicapping, because Bartolo Colon, I'll tell you what, he's old, he's fat, but he's freaking awesome, man. 41 years old, 23 strikeouts, 1 walk in 26 innings pitched. I brought him up every time he starts. I've said, do you think we can expect another strong start from him? Each time he has come through. 4-0, great ERA. Now he's going on the road at Miami, which can be a tough assignment, but he's been awesome. What do you think this time? Another great start from Colon?
No, I sure wish I were 41 years old again. But yeah, he is doing extremely well, 2.77 ERA, and he's only walked 1 batter in 26 innings. And that's what you would kind of expect from a KG veteran, a guy who can find the strike zone. Yeah, let's just ride the guy while he is hot. As I said, you know, the Mets and the Yankees, two of the better surprises this year in baseball. How can you not ride the guy who's hot?
Yeah, I don't know, because the thing is, Latos looks like he's getting it together now as well. And after a rocky start, you know he's going to be bearing down, probably due for a good run here. And the Mets overachieved. I think that's pretty clear, right? So I'm thinking that, we might see a good game. And also Miami, their lineup is, has underachieved a little bit to start the year as well. I'm wondering if this might be Colon's first loss, actually.
It's, handicapping, when you're talking about on a daily basis, it's not so much handicapping what's going to happen for the rest of the year. I really think you're a much better value, more than any other sport, baseball. I look at their recent form than I do their overall talent, because baseball, because they play every day, tends to be where teams are the streakiest. So, what they're going to do a month down the road, we'll worry about that a month down the road. But go with Colon right now while he's hot.
All right, and then Tanaka, right? He had his last start pushed back. He is scheduled to go on Wednesday at home against Tampa Bay. And Drew Smyly is now back off the DL. He, of course, was quite good for a while last year before when he was in the majors. And his first start back, he's getting into form. It was, he's building up his pitch count. But in general, things look pretty promising for him if he's healthy. And Tanaka, we know that he's having issues with his arm, and he is off of a couple of good starts, but it seems like, at any point he could be due to get hit again, and it makes me nervous. Maybe Tampa Bay might be a good bet here. What do you think?
Tanaka, he may not throw. He might be on a little bit more of a pitch count, but when you're talking about a guy who's got a .68 ERA over his last 13 innings pitched, 14 Ks and 2 walks, maybe you want to look at either the Yankees on the 5-run or the 5-inning line, I should say, and maybe the other, because as you said, Drew Smyly hasn't done all that poorly at Yankee Stadium. 1.17 ERA in 3 career appearances at Yankee Stadium. Maybe not a large sample size, but he clearly not distracted by pitching in the famous ball yard of Yankee Stadium. So maybe either the Yankees in the first 5.5 innings, or possibly this game to go under.
So you do expect a decent start from Tanaka then?
I do. I think both of these guys will have a good 5-6 innings.
All right. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm thinking he might get hit, but we'll see. One guy who else I think might get hit, Wandy Rodriguez, right? He was down in the minors. Now he's back up. He had a relatively easy assignment in his first start and did pretty well, but now he's going to be at home against Seattle. Felix Hernandez on the other side. What do we expect from him here on the road at Texas? Not exactly sure. Seattle will be a big favorite here, but I'm thinking Rodriguez gets hit. Is there any reason not to expect that?
We agree with you there. It just comes down to how much is Hernandez going to be laying on the road. Look, we know Hernandez is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he's pitching like Felix Hernandez with a 1.61 ERA in 4 starts, but you're going to be laying the lofty number. So, but perhaps with Rodriguez, very likely to get drilled. Maybe Seattle on the run line could be the good play here.
And then Detroit at Minnesota. You know, Shane Green, guy who usually gives a great start. His last start, he got crushed, though, against Cleveland. And Cleveland has, you know, a live lineup at times for sure. Before that, though, he had 3 great starts. Now he's going on the road at Minnesota, an easier assignment. And, you know, maybe this is a spot where we want to take a guy with a lot of talent coming off of a start where he got crushed and expect him to have another sterling start again as his first 3 were. What do you think?
Probably in Phil Hughes, he's been kind of mediocre against Detroit, 4.07 ERA in 15 appearances. So the pitching advantage would certainly seem to be in Detroit's edge here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I mean, do you agree that the fact that he got crushed by Cleveland last start, going up here against a weaker lineup, means that probably signs are in his favor that he's going to pitch unusually well?
He's a good enough pitcher that I do expect him to bounce back. And like you said, he's not necessarily going to be facing the best bat. So I would tend to agree with you.
And then Kuchel against Cashner in Houston at San Diego. It is a day game, but, you know, both these guys have been pitching very well. First question is, do we expect both of them to continue to pitch well here? And second of all, which do we consider to be more likely to pitch a little bit better? Kuchel against Cashner.
Yeah, and it's quite the game of alliteration for the broadcasters there. Look, Dallas Kuchel, the guy's been uncanny. He's allowed 1 run. He's allowed runs in only 1 of the 29 innings that he's pitched, and he hasn't given up any in his last 19. So he's been tremendous this year. It's very tough to go against him, but you're right. There's probably going to be a very small margin of error. But who has the pitching advantage? I've got to say Houston. Kuchel's pitching as well as any pitcher in Major League Baseball.
All right, so to sum up, I'm personally going to be thinking about maybe, you know, Tanaka getting hit and maybe looking towards betting on, you know, Tampa Bay or Tampa Bay first 5 or the team total over, something like that. I am expecting a big start from Shane Green, so maybe Detroit on the run line, something like that. Expecting low-scoring game in San Diego, Houston, and yeah, expecting Wandy Rodriguez to get hit, so maybe Seattle on the over or on the run line, something like that. And Cologne Latos, I don't know. Cologne probably going to be pretty good, but you know, Miami and with Latos, not sure I'd quite want to be betting against that right now. All right, that's it from Wednesday that I want to make sure we got to. Joe Duffy, what else do you think is worth mentioning?
You really upset Aaron Harang. You've been waiting for him to get drilled, and he just continues to go out there. And like I said, he's a quote-unquote crafty veteran. I think he feels a little disrespected that a lot of teams didn't want him. And while he's pitching well, I expect that to continue because a veteran like that, look, he's not going to panic. He's not going to make over-adjustments. So why not ride Harang while he's got some good value? And Garrett Cole, he's 5-0 lifetime to the Cubs. So that would about round it up in addition to all the stuff we've already talked about.
Yeah, I agree with you on being kind of high on Garrett Cole. I think the reason not to ride Harang is because he's pitching for Philadelphia, and I'm just not sure I'd be wanting to bet Philadelphia against anyone right now, especially not on the road against St. Louis. And Carlos Martinez has been great on the other side.
It's a possibility, but again, we're talking about value, and when you're talking about a line, it's going to be a pretty line here. If you can hit 45% of those, you're going to make a ton of money. So I'm still about value, not necessarily, predicting in the newspaper who's going to win the game. But when you're talking about a guy who's maybe going to get 160 and he's got a 45% chance to win, that's still very good value.
Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. That's Wednesday's pitching matchup. Thanks so much.